Hello everyone, today is my birthday and I want to make slightly different video. Yes, thank you very much if you are wishing me happy birthday. Now today I want to talk about three things. Number one, I want to show you setup, my setup for making videos and the blogs that I write. Number two, I want to talk about why you should have a website for sure. And along with the website, I also want to talk about why it is always good to have a blog or maybe a YouTube channel or maybe a GitHub profile. And finally, I want to talk about what all you will gain from doing all this. Now, starting with, of course, my setup. This is my room, and this is basically where I spend most of my time. I wake up quite early in the morning. In fact, I wake up at 4 o'clock, which is a bit early for many people, but I prefer working in the mornings when I have no distraction. Now, for making videos, I of course use few things, starting with, of course, the mic. I think having a decent mic is really important. You need a good mic if you are trying to share something online. I think camera is important, but not that much. But with this mic, I also have this pop filter. Now, for a long time, I was making videos with this glove that I was using as a pop filter. It was working fine, but the problem with the glove is that you need to maintain a distance when you're talking to a mic. With the help of this pop filter, you can always be assured that you are maintaining at least a few inches from the mic. And this is the Samsung Go mic, which I believe is really good. It is very compact. It is not really cheap. It is like, I think, 50 pounds. I bought it in India, but even if you're trying to buy it in maybe UK or US, I believe it will be somewhere around $50 or 50 pounds, a bit more in pounds. Now, talking about my camera, my main camera is the Logitech one that I use. It is quite good. It is, of course, not massively expensive. I don't really remember how much I paid for this, but this is the only camera that I use. But I was also using the laptop's inbuilt webcam, which I think was fine, but when the lighting is not good, there is a lot of grainy or some noise in the video, so I don't like that. So I thought, let us buy a decent camera, Logitech. Now, for recording videos, I use OBS. OBS, if you don't know, is free software that you can also use. People use OBS for streaming. They use also OBS for recording videos. And the reason I use OBS is because when I'm making a video, I of course start with my face, and in OBS you can basically have different scenes. So if I have to share my screen, I can simply click on this option here called Scene 2 or maybe Scene 3 if I want to get rid of my face completely. And with the help of these different scenes, you can of course show different things. I also used to use shortcuts for changing the scenes, but if I'm using a separate monitor, I don't really worry about the shortcuts. I just click on the Scene 1, Scene 2. And the reason I am not able to use shortcuts is because they don't really work in Mac, at least the latest version of Mac OS. And one more thing that I want to talk about is the stand, the mic stand. I don't know what you call it. It is quite good, and usually I spend my day standing up. So this is my setup. As you can see, it is not at all fancy. I have, of course, a normal table, and on top of this table I have these boxes, and I just arrange these boxes to achieve a perfect height. Also, for lighting, I don't really worry too much about the lighting because although I have this nice umbrella light. In fact, I have two of them, but I don't really use them. I mean, I use them, but not always because I'm a bit lazy. Whenever I have to share something, I just start recording, and I use, of course, the natural light if I can. And as you can see here, there's a nice view outside. So this is what I get to see throughout the day. When it gets dark, there are foxes and sometimes deer outside roaming, which is always good to good to good to have. You feel like you are in a natural environment. Uh, One more thing, if you're serious about listening to music, then I recommend you to always, or at least try getting into hi-fi systems. You don't need to spend a lot of money. So basically what I do, I have these very cheap speakers that you can buy from either eBay or maybe you can buy online. They are not at all expensive, but the sound quality is amazing. And these are passive speakers. So passive speakers, so it is all about basically they don't have their own, I mean, they need external power, and you can do that with the help of an amplifier. And I use one amplifier called Lepi. This is a cheap but high quality amplifier. And when I'm, of course, recording a video, I am always making sure that the audio is going through, and the OBS is able to also show the level here. So if you look here, there is an option here to take a look at the volume. So if I select my built-in microphone, which I don't really use, I use Samsung Go mic, it will show you always the level here. Also, the good thing about Samsung Go mic is that there is an option here to connect your headphones. So if you want, you can also attach your headphones, and when you are speaking, you can always listen to what you are saying. So as you can see, this is not really fancy setup, very simple setup. I always work when I'm always working standing up. Also, when I'm standing up throughout the day, I sometimes do some exercises. So I keep my dumbbells here. I also use these sandals because when I stand for a long time, continuously for a couple of days, my heel starts to hurt. And wearing, I mean, when I'm basically using these sandals, I feel slightly comfortable. Also, I use two external hard disks here. As you can see, I always keep them in a pouch. So every week or every month, whenever I have to, I copy everything in like all the videos and all the, in fact, any file that I have that is important to me, I just copy it in the hard disk. I have two of them, and I basically keep a copy. I use simple plain R sync. Now, for lightning, as I mentioned, I don't really use the umbrella that much, but sometimes if I have to, I use the cheap lights that I always keep here on the desk, just to balance the light on my face, because when I'm here, I can, one side of my face is always bright, but the other side is not. So I do have this monitor, and this monitor also is quite bright. But if I have to, I can also use these external lights, of course, very cheap lights. And I always keep this with me for working out, for making sure my grip is great. And this is my big mirror where I always appreciate myself if I have to. Now let me show you where I spend my evenings. So when I'm done with my work, my main work throughout the day, I basically spend some time also making videos, mostly just using my camera, this one, or my mobile phone. So this is my living room, and this table here is where I sit. This is my dining table, and I usually sit here, I talk about things, and I quite like the setup here because the wall is all wooden and it gives a nice background. Sometimes I stand here and I talk about things, like for example, last few videos I was standing here and I use one it's not really a tripod, but like a umbrella stand where I attach my mobile on top. So this is basically my setup, and I'm showing you all this because I thought it can be useful in case you are trying to do something similar. Now, talking about why you need to have a website. Now, and by the way, I made some notes for this video because I thought I'll cover all these points that I wanted to cover. Now, talking about website, I think in 2020 we all should have our own website. Definitely, you don't need to do anything great with that website. The bare minimum you should have is a simple website. It could be a HTML site. It could be a site that you can build with the CMS or Drupal, which I prefer, or WordPress. But having your own domain is, I think, very important. And this is, of course, relevant, a lot relevant for someone who is a developer, programmer. If you're in IT field, then I think it is a must-have. But I think this is also applicable for everyone. Apart from having a website, there are other things that are good to have. Number one, I think you can also look for building a blog. Blog is, of course, nothing but a place where you can write regular content. If you have to, you can share whatever you're doing. For example, if you're a developer and you're doing something great, or you're learning something, so you can always write about it. I think it is always good to share things with everyone, and these things are these things can really help when you're sharing something online, and I'll talk about those things. Number two, YouTube channel, of course. When you make a video, I think it is another form of sharing content in a different way. Of course, video format, but you have the opportunity to talk, and I think in a lot of cases, videos are more effective when you're trying to, let us say, convey your thoughts, or maybe you're trying to teach someone, for example. Now, I'm not a big fan of keeping your content at one platform. Like, for example, people use LinkedIn, people use Twitter, people use Facebook. I'm totally okay with that, but I think you should try to keep the content with yourself on your website. And doing that for text-based content, I think it is not at all difficult because it is not heavy. I try to keep everything on my site and I share it elsewhere. I do have one more channel called BlackBerry Boy. I'll share the link in this video, where I talk about these things, like how you can manage your own content on your own website and still talk to these social networking sites. For example, I keep my content on my site and I share things on Twitter. I interact with Twitter without going to Twitter. So this is something that you can do if you want. So there is a community called IndieWeb. So you can follow their principles if you think these things make sense. Now, talking about YouTube channel, as I was talking about keeping content with yourself, doing that with videos is a bit difficult, especially with YouTube videos. Now, YouTube videos are fine, but I also sync them on one more platform called Library. So if you go to LBRY, just search lbry.com. It is a platform where you can upload videos just like YouTube, and the good thing about LBRY library is that it can sync, or it can basically pick up new videos from YouTube. So I am a bit assured that my videos are on YouTube and they are also on library. I also keep them locally with me, and hopefully in near future I will set up my own PeerTube instance. So PeerTube is basically a decentralized platform, open source platform for video sharing. It is like YouTube, but the only concern here is that you need, I believe, a decent server. So which I think I will do maybe in future. Let us see how it goes. Now, talking about GitHub profile, if you're a developer, I think it is no surprise. I'm talking about sharing content. I'm talking about whatever you're learning. You can also share with everyone. And GitHub, or any repository that you can share and basically show it to everyone, I think it is always helpful. Now, talking about the benefits and what all you can get from doing all these. Now, number one, I'll of course tell you from my perspective. I think when you're learning something with the intention to share, you learn it in a better way. I think you spend more time. I think make sure that you learn it with great detail. Also, I think it is good for your career because you're learning something. I think that is always great. And I learn it, whenever I learn something new, I find joy and happiness and I feel satisfaction. That is the main reason. And whenever I share something, I feel even more happy. But I know that it is always good for your career. If you're in IT, especially if you're in IT, I think when you can showcase your skills with the help of these blogs or posts or whatever you're doing, maybe you have a GitHub repository, your potential employers will always appreciate, or they have one more opportunity to see what all you can do. And also, don't worry about the views, don't worry about the analytics. uh, Even if I have one view on my video, even if I have one subscriber, I think I'm happy, because I don't really do it for subscribers, I don't really do it for views. YouTube is not a platform for getting view for YouTube is not a platform for technical content, for tutorials, because people go to YouTube for entertainment, people go to YouTube for fun, and that is how YouTube algorithm works. They promote channels where people get entertained. But don't feel disheartened by 50 views or 20 views. Most of my videos get 50 views, even less, but I don't really care. I think I'm happy with few people who appreciate my content, and I of course enjoy doing all that. Now, talking about skills that you will acquire by doing all this. If you're writing a blog, of course, your writing skills are getting improved. Your language skills overall are getting improved. When you make a content on YouTube, for example, you are able to talk. You need these communication skills that will always help you in different areas in your career. So if you're making a video on YouTube, uh, I think you are conveying your thoughts in spoken language that people can understand, and I think it is always great to keep practicing by sharing regularly. Also, when you are making these videos, or maybe when you are writing something, you are learning you're basically improving your presentation skills. So this is all I wanted to basically talk about in today's video. Today is definitely a day where when I'm taking a break from my regular videos, and uh, it is my birthday, and I thought I'll talk to you guys directly, just like yesterday. Yesterday, I made a video on a similar topic where I asked for feedback, and I received a lot of comments, and I think I now have some idea about what kind of videos people are looking for. So thank you very much. Thank you once again for all your support so far. And I hope my videos are useful. My content, my blogs, uh, and whatever I'm sharing is helping you guys. So thank you very much for watching today's video. And once again, I'll end the video in a similar fashion. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.